So we have economics, October 2023, interactive section here too. Question 13, right? So in the UK, the maximum price for a unit of electricity for domestic consumers was 0.28 pounds per kilowatt hour in September 2022. This was increased by the government to 0.34 per kilowatt pounds hour in October 2022. Evaluate the macroeconomic effect of an increase in the maximum price of electricity. So before we go to the macroeconomic effect, what is macroeconomic?
Macroeconomic is the economics of markets.
So that means study the market. So the individual market, right? So that means we're talking about individual markets for demand or supply, right? So the price mechanism, demand and supply, great, okay. So who are those involved in macroeconomic?
Like the factors?
Who are those involved?
Consumers and suppliers.
Consumer suppliers, those are the economic agents. And what about government?
The government also takes a role,
yeah. So we have both producers, consumers, and government in macroeconomic, right? Okay. When we talk about the economic as a whole, that means when we talk about economic as a whole, what's that?
That's macroeconomics.
Macro, thank you. Okay. Now, you already said the maximum price increased. So that means we have an increase in maximum price here. Not an increase in price, an increase in maximum price. Okay, great. So what is maximum price?
Maximum price is the most amount of or the highest price firms can charge to consumers.
So maximum price is a ceiling price
that they cannot
charge.
exceed.
Okay, they cannot exceed. So, which means is it set above equilibrium or below equilibrium price? Below equilibrium price. So we call it maximum price because it is set below the equilibrium price. Firms cannot charge above it. That's why it is a ceiling price. Okay, great. So according to the extra, there's an increase in maximum price from Pmax to Pmax 1. So both of them are still below the equilibrium price, right? Great. So what are the consequences of this? So if an increase in maximum price, right? What's the consequence of an increase in maximum price to consumers? What's the consequence of an increase in maximum price to producers? And what's the consequence of an increase in maximum price to the government itself? Those are the three questions then, because it's macroeconomic, right? So according to Excel, maximum price was 0.28 in September and increasing. Okay, great. Yeah, up to now you're fine. Okay. So the increase makes it less affordable for consumers, but it is still less than equilibrium price. Yes. Increasing maximum price still makes it affordable because there's equilibrium price, which simply means consumer surplus will reduce a bit, but it's still okay because it is not still the equilibrium price. Okay. So this makes it less affordable for consumers, but it's still less than equilibrium price. The point is clear there, okay? The maximum price may have caused some electrical companies shut down. However, with an increase in maximum price, fewer companies may shut down. So setting the maximum price brings about excess demand, not supply. That means demand will be more than supply. That's the objective of maximum price. Here you said the maximum price may have caused some electrical companies to shut down. Okay, so increasing the maximum price, however, with an increase in maximum price, fewer companies may shut down. Or, okay, now it's going to be fewer companies shutting down, or few companies might come back wanting to sell. Okay, well, it's still the same though, it's fine. On the other hand, this is beneficial to consumers now. Consumers now will be saving more electricity or investing in energy saving devices. So those consumers that will not be able to still pay the increasing maximum price might switch to alternatives. That's what you're saying here, right? Okay, great. So the magnitude of maximum price increase was high, so it will impact consumptions of individuals. Okay, maximum price will affect consumers rather than businesses. Yeah. So okay, for government, government failure is at risk. There could be government failure. Is that what you want to say? Okay, but before we go there, now that setting maximum price, increasing maximum price is going to affect consumers it's going to affect both producers too,
Yes.
because it increases revenue for producers. Though it's not what they are really expecting,
Mhm.
but it will still increase revenue for them. So as a result of that, producer surplus
Increases.
improves. Because when you say it increases, it will increase only when it exceeds the equilibrium price. But now, as soon as maximum price is set, producer surplus is expected to reduce. So if maximum price increases, it improves producer surplus. Okay. So government failure, okay, there could be government failure here. Why would there be government failure?
Because there may be an information gap about or people unintended consequences, like people going to black market, or there would be high administrative costs.
So setting the maximum price or minimum price leads to a parallel market, because both of them are still at equilibrium. One is below equilibrium, one is above equilibrium. So which simply means producers might still sell at equilibrium, but selling behind government regulation. That's a black market. So maximum price might lead to selling at the black market, because some consumers might still be able to afford equilibrium, because there's equilibrium price, which is the price of agreement between quantity demanded and quantity supplied. So there could be government failure here, because producers might not want to sell by reducing the quantity supplied to ensure that it is being sold at the black market. So is it unintended consequence there? So is it unintended consequence? No. That's a parallel market. It's related, okay, yeah, a black market, okay? High administrative cost. Why is there high administrative cost?
Because there would be.
Why would there be high administrative cost? Because you got high administrative cost here, which could be a government failure, right? So what is government failure itself?
It's when the government intervention leads to a net welfare loss.
Okay, good. So unintended consequences talked about already. So for high administrative cost, what would have caused high administrative cost?
Maybe extensive paperwork while doing the taxes and all that.
No. High administrative cost here goes to the government, right? Okay. So, because maximum price doesn't have anything to do with businesses here.
Okay.
So they are not doing paperwork. But
high administrative cost to monitor the businesses.
Great. So there could be high administrative costs because government might need to employ government workers or officials to ensure that businesses do not bypass the regulation. So that's why there's high administrative cost. So in conclusion, the effect of price change depends on the change in the real incomes. So a change in the real income, how does that impact on? So what are you saying about the real income here? He said, in conclusion, the effect of price change depends on the change in real incomes. What does that imply?
This implies that the magnitude of the effect in the maximum price will depend on how salaries will change. So if salaries increase and maximum price increases, there would be less effect, or people will be less affected by this maximum price increase.
So we are simply saying that income, what people earn, might as well determine the impact maximum price will have on the microeconomics, right? Okay, great. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Yeah, you got the full mark though. Well done. So we'll go to question 14. So we have question 4, right? 14. It said, many consumers do not buy travel insurance before going on holiday abroad, despite the likely substantial cost if they need medical care. Many car drivers do not provide complete and accurate information to car insurance companies when insuring their cars. Evaluate the microeconomic effects of imperfect information on insurance markets. Okay. What is imperfect information?
Imperfect information is when one economic or there's different levels of information between
both parties.
Both parties.
Okay. So information failure. Okay. So we have information failure here. So it's about information failure. So imperfect information is the same as information failure, right? So what is information failure?
Information failure is, as I said, different levels of knowledge between both parties.
So there's asymmetric information. Now there's information gap
Information
between
gap.
both parties. Okay. So yes, information failure is when consumers lack enough information to make optimal decision. E.g., consumers not knowing the cost of traveling without being insured. So there's information gap. When economic agents have different levels of information, example, car owners having more information than their insurers. What is insurance itself?
Insurance is the, I'd say insurance is the protection, that is a service that protects a person from high costs.
Loss.
High loss, okay.
Loss. So insurance is a transfer of risk from the shoulder of the owner of a property or assets to that of insurance company through premium. So you are guiding yourself against any loss that you don't know if it may occur or not. That is what insurance is about. Okay. The insurance for life is called life assurance anyway. So yeah, I got your point here. So there are factors that can bring about market failure. Market failure occurs when the price mechanism leads to an inefficient allocation of resources. So what is inefficient allocation of resources in this case? They said many consumers do not buy travel insurance before going on holiday abroad, despite the likely substantial cost if they need medical care. Many car drivers do not provide complete and accurate information to car insurance companies when insuring their cars. So there is misallocation of resources here, right? So what are misallocation of resources here? Or inefficient allocation is the same anyway.
Misallocation of resources is, instead of paying insurance, travelers pay for medical costs. Instead of allocating their resources in insurance, they're allocating their resources in medical costs, which could have been avoided by paying insurance.
Okay, that's misallocation on that side. Then for many car drivers, what's misallocation there?
Misallocation is well, instead of giving the proper information to their car companies,
to insurance companies,
they might now pay extra costs because they didn't some parts of the car are not insured,
or they might not be able to get their
full coverage.
They will not be able to get their claim, quality claim, because they didn't provide the necessary information, or probably their carelessness. These are okay. So let me see what he wrote anyway. So these are factors that can bring about. Okay, so many consumers holiday abroad. Many consumers holiday abroad. Many consumers holiday abroad without insurance, despite substantial cost when they need medical care. What are you trying to say? I said many consumers holiday.
So many consumers travel abroad.
Abroad, okay. Many consumers travel abroad on holiday without insurance, despite substantial cost when they need medical care. So to reduce market failure, insurance companies can ask to check previous records or consult the individual's doctor. Okay, but here, he said they go abroad without understanding the cost of, maybe there could be emergency, they wouldn't know, okay? All right, so to solve that problem, to solve the problem, you're saying insurance companies may check their previous records or consult the individual doctors. That could solve the problem of information failure here. There's information failure here, right?
Yes.
Are you sure there's information failure here, or there is misallocation? Because I choose not to insure. So that could be irrational.
I'd say irrational behavior.
That could be an irrational behavior. I wouldn't see this as information failure, because some consumers here, they might even have information about this, and they just feel like, oh, I will be back soon. What's the point of insuring? What's the point of insurance? Then I could take the risk. I might not get sick. I might not get ill. So they might feel it's worth taking the risk. Not that they don't know the consequence. So not insuring, not having travel insurance could be an irrational behavior of consumers. Not even to talk about information gap. Because when you look at information these days, information is everywhere. You could get information from the internet. Insurance company might even get information if there's inertia, they are lazy to gather all information that the insurance company needs. The insurance company might do that for their clients. Do you get it?
Yes.
So he said many consumers already are without insurance despite substantial costs. Okay, it's fine. But to reduce market failure, insurance companies, market failure could be misallocation of resources anyway. Insurance companies can ask to check previous records or consult the individual doctors. Okay, it's fine. So market failure may be the result of consumers behaving irrationally. So they would avoid the factors that would maximize their utility and encounter large medical costs. Car owner, these are all about
travel insurance.
Travel insurance. It would have been better if you talked about how they can as well get the information, because you need more marks here, how they can as well get the information. You only talked about getting the information from individual doctors, which I think this would be expensive for the insurance company.
Administratively.
Yeah, it would be expensive for it would be expensive for the insurance companies.
But providing medical records.
Yeah, and now paying more here means consumers might pay more, and based on the information here, they said do not buy. They do not buy at all, and if they are incurring more costs, that means they might not. It increases their expenses, and that might reduce their disposable income. We didn't talk about, because we're still talking about microeconomic here. So when they incur more cost, it reduces the amount of money available for them to spend. So it reduces their disposable income too. You should have talked about that, because we're still talking about microeconomic. So now let's go to the car owners. Car owners may encounter high insurance costs if they do not provide the right information. That's all? No, sorry. For car insurance, for car owners, they said many car drivers do not provide complete and accurate information to car insurance companies when insuring their cars. So if they do not provide complete and accurate information to the car insurance about their cars, it simply means they want to pay less. They are thinking about paying less in terms of premium. But paying less in terms of premium is at a risk for them, because now that they are not providing the right information to the insurance company. So when the claim comes, they might not be able to get the claim, because the information available to insurance company are what the insurance company will work on based on their claim whenever there's a loss. Do you get the point here? Also, for the insurance company, they might as well pay more than what they are supposed to pay, because car owners do not provide them with accurate information. So it could affect consumers and also affect insurance companies. So here, not providing the right information is an information gap, because car owners have more information than the insurance company. And this might allow insurance company to pay more in terms of claims. And also, it might deprive car owners from getting the right claim on their insurance, because they do not provide the right information. So insurance company might say, oh, you didn't give us this information about this, information about that, information about this. So you won't have claims to this. And aside that, when you insure, there's consultation. The car owners gave the full information about their cars to the insurance company. There might be the do's and the don'ts that the insurance company will talk about. But for the fact that they're not giving the right information, the insurance company doesn't have access to the information that would allow them to advise car owners. Do you understand? So these are things you should talk about too. I think it's clear now, right? Okay. So here, at least Maybe some 12 marks.
There isn't enough space.
Yeah, okay. That's not an excuse. You should write, there's always a blank space.